There's probably only one thing which is a given and we just have to accept. And that is what's called the formula for a major scale. And we've seen this before. And it's the jumps between the notes when you're going up a scale. When you play your da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you play your first note, whatever it might be, whatever key. So if it's in the key of G, you start on G. And then you go up a tone, the next note. So if you're in G, you go up to A.
Yeah.
If you're in, then you go from A up another tone to B.
Yeah.
Then you go to a semitone to C. There's no B sharp. And then you go up another tone. So we've got to C so far. I'll write the scale underneath in a minute. To go up another tone from C to D. Go up another tone from D to E. Sorry, how have we gone? G up, yeah. So the first tone takes us from G to A. The second tone takes us from A to B. The next semitone, B to C. Then C to D. And then D to E. We've got another tone which takes us from E to F sharp, because there's no F. So 2 semitones or 2 frets on the guitar is up to F sharp. And then we have a semitone at the end, which takes us back to D. If I write the notes underneath, okay, G, the tone above it, a T above it. G means we go up to A next. It's slightly out of step with the, I'll tell you what, let's just push that along a bit. Spread them out. There you go. So that formula at the top there, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone.
I recognise that.
It's absolutely fixed. It's in the laws of physics. Can't do anything about that.
Right.
And that's a given. So every major scale follows that pattern. It just depends on what note you start on. It makes it G major or F major or B flat major. The G plus that T above it gives us A. A plus that tone above it gives us up to B. Oops. B plus that semitone takes us to C, up to D. Yeah, you've probably seen this before, but there you go. F sharp. And the final semitone, S on the end. Oops, widen that box. Gives us the G at the end.
Right.
And that's why when you play your G major scale, you are playing E, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So that is the major scale, G major. When you're in the key of G, unless you, for any reason, dip out of the key of G into something else or some odd sounding notes in it, they're the only notes you're going to play.
Right.
So any simple song, Happy Birthday, generally the simpler songs, they'll be played, whoever's playing the melody or the singer, will only have notes from that scale. Yeah, so it won't be a C sharp in the melody for Happy Birthday. There won't be a B sharp or a B flat. It'll only be when you're playing it in the key of G.
Yeah.
If I was just quickly, if I was playing it in the key of, if we're in D, for example, we start on D, we go up a tone to E, we got another tone that will be F sharp. That's a tone above E. Then a semitone up to G, and a tone up to A, and a tone up to B, more tone up to C sharp, and the final semitone back to D. Widen that.
So would that be in the key of D?
That'll be the D major scale. Now, every melody starts on a particular note in that scale. So Happy Birthday, for example, I think starts on the... hang on.
Actually, I stumbled across that little tune while I was doing, the scales.
All right.
For some reason, I stumbled across those few notes that, I recognise as Happy Birthday, or part of it anyway.
Okay. Well, a lot of the simpler tunes you will find are come out of those scales, especially at scale practice. If you just run up the scale G, A, B, C, D, that's the opening to EastEnders. So if they sang if someone said play EastEnders in G, obviously they need to know the melody before they can do that. It's not just off the top of their heads. They would go G, A, B, C, D, E, B. So it goes up that scale. That melody happens to go up and down that scale. So it goes G, A, B, C, D, E. if someone said, okay, I'll tell you what, it's a bit, I prefer it in a different key. Can you do it in D? So they would look at the key of D, the scale of D, and they would go D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. So they'd use the same sequence of notes. In other words, they're going up the same sequence of tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone, so on.
Yeah, same intervals.
Same intervals, that's right. But the starting note would be different.
Okay.
So EastEnders in the key of D would go D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, F sharp.
Yeah, but I mean, sorry I have to interrupt, but it's just bugging me. You know, for instance, you know, some of these blooming live programs on TV. You know, they've got a band of supporting singers. You know, all these people trying to sing and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you've got somebody like, I don't know, one of the famous singers.
Yeah.
He possibly stands up and says, you know, can you play my tune in the key of whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, how can the bloke suddenly know how to play it?
He'll need the keyboard player or the guitarist will probably play the opening chord in the new key, give him a clue as to what the first note is. So there'll be a clue in the backing music. It's very unlikely, unless he's a opera singer or something, a professional, unlikely to be able to just pitch the correct starting note. If someone said the key EastEnders goes da 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 da, and then someone said to me, right in D, I'd have to go give me a D then. You know, the note D, so I know what to start on. Bing, and then go da 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 da. Yeah, then it's higher or lower. That singer would probably have a bit of backing behind them, musical backing, and they can pick the note out of that. I mean, that's one of the skills of a singer, is to be able to pick a note out and know what to sing.
Yeah.
So they'd be given a clue. They wouldn't just come out of it, come out cold and just start singing in another key. I mean, that's, you know, there's hardly anyone can do that.
Yeah.
A few top professional singers, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Different on an instrument, because you can just look at your fretboard or piano keys and find the note there. You know, it's staring at you. The D. Oh, there you go. If you were playing this on the guitar, you'd play G, A, B, C, D. Someone said play in D, you'd just find the D major scale. You wouldn't need a clue. You just need to know where your D was, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And you just go up the D major scale, move that pattern up to D, and play it then. Does that answer that question about what a singer on The Voice would do, or whatever program?
Voice, yeah, I guess it's The Voice I was thinking of. And, you know, sometimes they just stand up and decide to sing something. You know, some of these, you know, famous singers that are on the sort of panel.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think, what was it? Tom Jones, I think, said, you know, can you play whatever it is in the key of whatever he needed?
Yeah.
Of course, you know, the backing band, which I'm very impressed with, just did it.
It did. Right. Okay. Well.
And I thought to myself, come on, it looks so impressive, although it may be a bit of a setup. It might have been a bit of a setup.
It might have been, yeah, it will be, yeah. Well, no, there's two things. It could be. Quite likely, especially with television and definitely with live television, that would have been prepared. In the way they're going to risk one person in that band unsure about a key change. They're either going to have it already written out in the other key. Josie's going to make up that, he's going to say that, what he said, knowing that they've got the other key in front of them, you know, the different chords.
I mean, do you think they would have had the song written in those different notes available?
Keys, yeah, they would have done, yeah. I think they probably would have done. Television is too expensive to mess around and think, hang on, I haven't got that right yet. Can we do it again?
Well, I mean, they can't afford to have a major cock up in the middle of it.
No, they can't afford a major cock, and they can't afford the time to make, you know, 100 staff and professional musicians sit there while somebody works out and writes on a bit of paper what the new chords are. So they'd have that prepared, and the music, and that would be like a little semi-rehearsed piece, I think.
Yeah.
However, having said that, I've been to plenty of gigs, admittedly mainly live jazz gigs, where what happens in jazz gigs is quite often the star player turns up. He's been booked, but the backing band are just local musicians. They can't fly over a whole band from America. They can fly over the great sax players, but they can't fly over these bands as well. So they often use local bands. And they have to be very good local bands, because what that sax player might say is, right, I want to do Fly Me to the Moon, E minor. And they've all got to be able to just quickly switch to E minor and play damn complicated tunes sometimes as well. So because that's part of the culture of jazz music, there are a lot of musicians who can do that. And on The Voice, quite a few of them might have that pedigree where they can think, oh, Fly Me to the Moon. Well, I know it in A minor. So if it's E minor, it's going to be all moved up from, an A is going to move to an E. It's got to go up that distance. Next note, B has got to move up.
Yeah, but they can't do that on the fly, can they?
Yes, you can, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think I can to a certain degree.
Oh, crikey.
Given a bit of thought. I mean, if you look at that scale, those two scales on the board there,
yeah.
The top one's G and the bottom one's D.
Yeah.
I know they're just notes, but let's hang some chords on those. So look at the scale of G. We've got the first one is G. Okay, well, G. The fourth one is C. And the fifth one is D. Okay. Yep. If you're playing a very simple pop song, it has G, C, and D in it. You're going to go G, G, C, C, D, D, G, G, and so on. You're going to go up and down those three chords. If someone said, let's do it in D now, what you do is you have these two things in your head, and you map them down. So G goes down to, sorry, I should use a pointer here. Yep. G goes down to D, or up to D. C goes to G, and D goes to A. So when the old version went G, C, D, G, new version goes D, G, A, D. Yeah. So that's that's a very simplified idea of what those musicians will be doing. And it's just complicated by the fact that they put an awful lot of other chords in as well. And you've got to just have that whole map in your head to be able to translate. And yes, people can do that. And one of the ways they do that is, I'm not suggesting you learn this technique, is what they do is assign a Roman numeral to each position. So I'll tell you why I'm doing big letters and small letters in a minute. So your Roman numerals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
I've done this with people who've never seen this before.
6,
so
7, yeah.
7 and then 8. Need 8. It's the same as 1. So some musicians, and again it'll be the professionals, and it'll be the ones in the bands like Strictly Come Dancing and The Voice and so on. They all learn songs not by chords that we do, G, C, D. They'll learn them by numbers. They'll just say, right, I don't care what key we're in just yet. How does Fly Me to the Moon go? Well, it goes chord number 1, followed by chord number 4, followed by chord number 5. Doesn't, by the way, but that idea. A Brown Eyed Girl, for example, goes 1, 4, 5, 4, 1. No, it doesn't. It goes 1, 4, 1, 5. That's right. So Brown Eyed Girl, that's right, it's on here, is a well-known song, which in number terms goes from the 1 chord to the 4 chord to the 1 chord to the 5 chord. And that's what we learn. We learn that. I think it's a 1, 4, 1, 5 type song.
In the key of D.
No, I'm talking about keys. Because if you learn 1, 4, 1, 5, if someone said to me, Brown Eyed Girl, it's a 1, 4, 1, 5,
yeah.
I immediately know that song in 12 keys. I've got 1, 4, 1, 5 in my head. I haven't got G, C, G, D. When I got to be prepared to get up there on The Voice, just say, unlikely, and someone say, Brown Eyed Girl, we're doing it in F.
So you know the string of notes or chords.
I know the numbers.
Yeah, the sequence, I guess.
Yes, I know it by number.
Yeah, but I mean, what you've done is allocate a number, obviously, to each of the notes or the chords, right?
Yeah.
But each of the keys.
Yes, you've got to learn that as well. Once you've done it once, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, for each of the keys, which obviously is a string of notes or chords, you've allocated these Roman numerals or numbers.
That's right, yeah. And I know in my head that 1 4 1 5 in F is F, B flat, F, C. It's just, just learned it.
Because you just committed it to your memory.
Yeah. I've tried to learn in all keys, all the numbers.
Blimey.
I'm not suggesting you do that, but
Right.
but then that means if you learn songs by number rather than by chord, that you can play it in any key, and that's how these musicians can get up there. And they know, the song in front of them. They're not playing particularly complicated stuff on the voice. They're not. They are. They might be if you haven't been playing music for long, but in music terms, compared to classical and jazz and so on, they're simple, relatively simple. So it's fairly straightforward to just memorize the numbers and start to emerge. You start to see the same things come up time and time again. So it's music is relatively predictable, partly because they're all in in a key. And
I must admit, I'm always impressed with the band on the voice.
Yeah, they are brilliant musicians.
They're so versatile. It seems they can almost play anything.
Well, yeah, and this will be one of the techniques they'll use. They might even, there will be some of them in there who don't write down the chords, they write down the numbers. They just play from that. They just wait to be told what the key is. The other reason for using numbers is because they'll be in the voice band, there'll be sax players and trumpets and so on. And if someone says we're playing in the key of G, if someone said my girl's in the key of G, trumpet players got to play in the key of A, the same notes to come out. So they've got to learn a different set of chords and notes.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why they learn the numbers, because then it doesn't matter. The musical director, if he starts saying, right, starting on G, everybody, trumpet player saying, no, I'm not, I'm starting on A. And the alto saxophone players say, no, I'm not, I'm starting on E. We start on different notes. So if the conductor says we're in G but start on the 1, everyone knows what he means. Your own 1 is different from one musician to another. That's another direction to worry about right now. So that's just another reason why this numbering system is quite
useful. Yeah,
very useful.
Versatile, obviously.
Yeah, it just helps. I mean, it's useful. 1 4 1 5 is a simple example to start with. Blues is a 1 4 5, really. A, D, and E. 1 4 5. So if someone says play a blues in E, no, it's E, A, B. That's the 1 4 and 5 in E.
Oh, right.
And that's probably the best example to start with.
Yeah.
Right, so that's just the notes. Okay, so that's stage 1. Stage 2 is why certain chords are not other certain chords. Right, so it's a little bit more involved, this one. So here we go. That's not going to move up, is it? Well, as I say, I'm recording this, so I'll have to wipe that, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Leave G on there. We'll do the key of G. Yeah. We'll work out what chords are in the key of G. Okay, there's another little given here, another thing we just have to accept. And that is a chord, the 3-note collection of notes played at the same time. Now you play 6 on a guitar, but there's only 3 different notes in that collection. 3 notes, and they are what's called a third apart. So we're going to work out what the chord is for G, first of all. Now, we've got the G there already.
So I mean, up to now, we've been talking about notes.
Yeah.
Rather than chords. But does the same thing apply?
Yes, it does, yes.
Okay.
We're not making any mental huge leap away from what we've just talked about. It's part of the same idea. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna work out what is the chord of G. What does it mean? It's got to be the same for all musicians. You can't have different chords.
Yeah, it's obviously three notes that define it.
Presumably. That's right. 3 notes define it. And when played by a piano player at the same time as a guitarist, at the same time as an accordion player, it's got to sound together. It's got to sound Same, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are those notes? Well, the way you make a chord up is by taking the first note, the name of the chord, the G, and adding the note from that scale, we're in G major, adding the note, which is a third above. Now, what that means is if G is the 1, we've already said it's the 1, A is the 2, the second, therefore B is the third.
Yeah.
That's another given, that chords are made up of thirds. We add a B. I'm just going to put it underneath.
Yeah.
And then, chord, like I say, is 3 notes. You add another note, which is a further third above that one. So what's a third above B?
So you got a D.
D, that's right. I'll put a D underneath that. That'd be underneath it, just for.
So that's the, okay.
They're the notes in the chord of G.
G.
Yeah. I don't know if you've got your guitar handy, but if you hold a G chord.
Hang on a second.
Yeah, any guitar, doesn't matter.
Yeah. There's a few here.
Doesn't even have to be in tune.
Yeah. Hang on.
I hold a G chord. Now, if you were to name every one of those 6 notes right across the guitar, if you want to take a little while to work it out, but you'll find that those notes are all G's, B's, or D's.
I'm not. Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the individual strings.
Playing each individual string, the 6 strings, right?
No, tell me what the 6 notes are that you're playing. There's a collection of 6 strings there, so you've got 6 notes.
Yeah.
All different.
Yeah.
The first one is a G, isn't it? Low one, the fret.
Yeah.
You got the second fret of the A string,
which is a. It's going to be a B.
B, that's a B, yeah. Then you've got the next string, open.
Which is an open one.
Yeah.
D.
D, that's right. Then the next string is open.
D. The next one is open, B.
D, B.
And the next one was going to be a G, presumably.
That's right, yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
You only mentioned G, B, or D then, didn't you?
Yeah. Those three notes, which is basically what you've got on the board there.
That's right, yeah. Okay, you played more than one G and more than one B, but that's just guitar, you know.
It's just those three notes that comprise of the chord.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can stick the guitar down. We're not going to do this for every chord.
It gives me a bit of exercise getting up and down.
Yes. So that means that I'm going to write underneath that chord is G. It might look a bit odd because it's another G, but that bottom line on my screen is the actual chord name.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Let's just separate that. It's a bit easier. Yeah. Okay, so then we move on to the next chord. A.
A.
We've add a third on top of that.
We're going to C.
Add a C, and then we go to the next one and add a third on top of that C.
E.
E. And then I'm going to write down here what chord that is. Now it's going to be an A chord because it's rooted on the A.
Yeah.
It's not A major, it's A minor.
Oh, right.
The reason it's A minor is because, let's go back to G. Why is that major? Right, the distance from G to B is, if you go back to this, is my pointer moving on the, can you see my pointer?
Yeah.
So G was here, so we've gone through 2 tones to get to B.
Yep.
You see that?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's 4 frets, because each tone is 2 frets.
Yep.
4 frets.
Yep.
When it's 4 frets, 2 tones, it's a major chord. And that's just another little given.
Right.
The third given. Interval of 2 tones is what's called a major third. We know it's a third because it's GAB.
Yeah.
And because it's 2 tones, it's a major third.
Yeah.
Now, because it's the first interval in the chord, B to B, that means that the chord is a major chord.
Right.
And that's just something we accept. Go to the next one, A. That's going from here.
Tone and a semitone.
Yeah, no, that's not 4 tones.
No.
4 semitones, it's only 3.
Yeah.
That means it's a minor third.
Right.
That means that whatever chord you've got here, and it doesn't matter what follows up at the top end, it's a minor chord. But because we're only looking at simple, what are called triads, 3-note chords, that is a minor. So we do the same. I'm just going to we'll do one more example, then I'll just type in the rest.
Okay.
Because I think you'll see a pattern coming up.
Yeah,
Okay, D, yeah, what's next?
D, D,
good.
and then F sharp.
That's right. That's the idea. And that's going to be, well, B to D, is that major or minor?
Yeah, B to D, it's going to be a minor, major, hang on, minor.
Minor, good. That means that's B minor. Now, are you starting to see a pattern with these letters here? E, C, D. So you can just write, what we can do is just write the rest of the major scale down. E, F sharp, G, A, E. In other words, because we're just crawling up at the same speed.
So you basically use the same intervals, right?
Yes, I mean, the second line is just the G major scale, but I've just started a third up.
Yeah.
Because I'm going up always at the same number of jumps. Intervals.
Basically, you've used the same intervals as the top line, you know, the tone and semitone.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. The bottom line, D, E, F sharp, we're on to G, A, B, C, E. And lo and behold, the last one is back to G, B, D, which kind of is a bit of accounting technique, whatever you call it. Right, so underneath I can write, it's going to be slightly out of step now, but so let's just go to this one here. We're on the fourth one now. Right. C, E, and G. So is that major or minor? So it's C to E. Well, it's going from here to here.
C to E, that's going to be a major.
That's right. Yep. And then D to F sharp, which is going from there to there.
It's going to be a major as well.
Major as well. So let's put major down there. And then F sharp to A, from there to there.
It's got to be a minor.
Minor. And then we're back to D at the end. So what we've got on the bottom of the screen, actually, is one little correction I've got to make here because it's never played. That's a diminished chord. F sharp diminished.
Oh, blimey.
No, forget that one. All right, I'll tell you why. I just don't want to overcomplicate it. But when you've got a minor, let's go back to the first chord, G to B, that's a major third, isn't it? G to B.
Yeah, major, yeah.
If you look at the next third, the one that's sitting on top of it, B to D.
It's a minor.
It's a minor. So when it's major on the bottom, minor on top, it's definitely still major. This one is minor on the bottom, but major on the top. D, E, it's minor.
Yeah, so there's obviously a pattern in there, isn't there?
That's right. Most of them are like this. So that one's minor on the bottom, major on top. So that's a minor chord. Yeah. They all follow that pattern. The C's and the D's are both major on the bottom, minor on the top half. When you get to this funny one at the end, the runt of the litter, it's minor on the bottom, F sharp to A to C is minor again. Diminished.
Yeah.
It sounds dreadful. So we don't play it. Well, we do play it. You hear it in classical and jazz. You don't hear it in pop music, hardly ever.
Right.
So, so it's called F sharp diminished. I'm just putting it there to complete the set. But if you were to take out the F sharp diminished, and that G there is just repetitious. Yeah. You'll see this when you rerun the thing if you want. I'm going to take that off. What you're left with are 6 chords. E, A minor, B minor, C, and D. And they are the 6 chords in the key of G. We've just been through the process of explaining how they are the ones and why it's not A major and it's not B major and it's not C sharp minor and it's not anything else. It's just those 6. That's the theoretical explanation of what are the chords in the key of G. There they are.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I got the impression you followed the progression.
Yeah.
And some of it you'd have seen before, no doubt. But when someone says, I'm going to play something in the key of G, they're the chords they're going to play. Now, they might play other chords, and that's an artistic license to play what you like. But if you took an average song, if you took, what's in the key of G? Sorry, hang on, sorry, I've missed that one.
Yeah,
missed that one. 7. That's 6, yeah, I was saying 6, I could only see 5.
Yeah, I was counting them as you were talking, I thought, oh,
yeah. Let's just connect that to what we were saying earlier. That is known as the 1 chord. That's known as the 2 chord. That's known as the 3 chord. That's known as the 4 chord. That's known as the 5 chord.
In the key of G.
In the key of G. And
so if somebody said, 1, 2, or 3 in the key of G, they would be the chords that relate to those numbers.
Yes. Right, yeah.
In your head.
Yeah, Moondance is a song by Van Morrison that you probably know. And It's a Wonderful Night for a Moondance. And that's a 1, 2, 3, 2. Now, it's actually, sorry, no, it's not. It's a 2, 3, 4, 2. No, it isn't. It's a 2, 3, 4, 3.
I'm glad you're getting confused.
Yeah. I'm forgetting it's minor, isn't it? Yeah. It's a 2, 3, 4, 3 song. So it goes A minor, B minor, C, B minor, A minor, B minor, C, B minor. 2, 3, 4, 3. And they are the chords to that song, the main verse of the song anyway. And if someone said, oh, can you play it in F instead? I'd have to quickly think, oh, that's G minor, A minor, B flat major, B minor. As I say, if that's something I had memorized, then I could do it. So, but that explains the numbering might be how these guys on The Voice are learning songs. I expect they're aware of it and they're using techniques, a mixture of techniques.
Yeah. Don't seem to be phased by anything,
No, there's a lot of editing going on in that program, though.
Well, yeah, I mean, it does look very slick, but you do suspect that, a lot goes on in the background.
Yeah. It's got looks.
And I'm sure they have a lot of practice as well.
They do, but somebody I know went to see Strictly Come Dancing, which is not quite the same, but the variety of music they have to play on Strictly Come Dancing is probably greater.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, another great band.
And they probably have to do an awful lot of stuff that even the people on The Voice wouldn't have to do because of the fact that you could be doing a tango 1 minute and doing a rock and roll number the next. Yeah. And they would have, they'd have it all written out for them by the musical director. But as musicians, they would understand all of this and be able to just play.
Well, they're professionals, aren't they, at the end of the day?
Professionals, yeah. There's also that thing that you've played something 1,000 times, it's just you can just do it, it's not. And some songs people would have played in lots of different keys over their lifetime. But, right, we've only got a few more minutes, but is that enough to be thinking about and does it answer your question? More importantly,
no, yeah, that's a good start to understanding it. I mean, not sure it's going to help me in my playing, but at least it helps me understand how it's all derived. Yeah. Because it was a thing that was sort of not concerning me really in a way that I couldn't understand it.
Right.
But yeah.
Just right. I'll just obviously it will still be on the screen in the video, so I'll just. I think the 3 rules of music, I suppose. I'm making this up, really, not really rules of music, but 1, that formula. 2 major chord equals, hang on, a major third plus a minor third. When you make up a major chord, you're starting with a tone and you're adding a note which is a major third above and another one which is a minor third above. Obviously the minor chord is the opposite, minor third plus major third. And there's only 2 other possibilities, 2 minors and 2 majors, and the other. That's the diminished and the augmented chord, which we haven't talked about. Yeah. But, yeah, so they're the 2 basic chords. And how, just a final thing, you might think, well, that's great, on the piano I'll play A, B, C, A, C, D, or whatever the notes are. Why do you play those shapes on the guitar? I know you haven't asked this question, but I'll tell you. If you know that E, B, and D are the notes of G major, this is how you work out the chord shape. This is how they were invented. Go 1 string at a time, and you start on the open note. And you think, is that note in that to me? Is that in that chord? No. You go up to the next note, F, no, F sharp, no. 3rd fret, G. G, that's one of them. Right, I'll nail that one. So that's that one. You just work your way across the strings, finding a note which is in the chord. You start with the open. And
looking for the GBDs.
Looking for the GBDs, that's right. And you work your way up the string gradually. If it's a playable shape, it's not a ridiculous stretch or anything, it becomes a chord shape.
Because in practice, you can play the same chord in several places on the guitar neck.
Yes. Well, then you move up to the next occurrence. Yeah. So if you wanted to find the next G going up the fretboard, you found a G, so you carry on up the bottom E string, from the G, keep going up. The next one you got to find is a B. You're not going to find a D before you find the B. You're going up a third. Then on the next string, that B goes up to a D. The next string, and they keep crawling up the strings, and you end up the next chord shape. Then you get bar chords and so on.
Yeah, but I mean, in practice, a proper guitarist, not like me, can effectively play the same chord in several places on the neck of a guitar, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, the sound isn't the same.
It'll be the same in a certain sense. It'll be the same. If you had a bowl of porridge, fruit, and nuts, and the fruit is on the bottom, the porridge is on top, and the nuts are in the middle. It's different if the nuts are on the bottom. The overall taste is the same. It's still a fruit, porridge, nut. So you wouldn't say they're different things. You just say they're in a different order. And that's the same with the chords. You get some high G's and low G's. You get some high B's and low B's. Interval. The pitch of the notes will be just different.
Yeah.
They'll still be the same 3 notes in there. Yeah. There's lots of different places you can play a G, aren't there?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying to say. I mean, but obviously the pitch or the sound would be different, but same chord, but different sound, if you know what I mean.
Yes. It's a different sound in the sense that it does sound different, but you can play them at the same time, and it will sound concordant.
Yeah,
in
a chord. In a chord.
Yeah. Well, concordant is the opposite to discordant.
Yeah. That's been useful, Dave. That's helped a lot.
Good. Okay. Well,
I think we've come to the end now.
Yes, I think that's probably enough to do anyway.
Yeah. That's great.
So on my Friday morning sessions, because I'm going at 1 key at a time, that's why you're finding that strumming pattern at the end is based on those particular 6 chords.
Yeah.
Those 6 chords. If you did this whole exercise in that, we're doing F tomorrow. Not the most common key, but it's the songs in the key of F.
Yeah.
And if you did the same exercise but tone, semitone, did it for the major scale of F, you get the set of chords that we're going to strum tomorrow, and that's where they come from.
Okey-doke.
Where, Mummy, Daddy, where did I come from?